I'm hoping that with the new adjustments I made to this whole setup, I will get a better video this time. And let's see how this one turns out. Um, I want to talk about U.S. Bonds, treasuries, stock market, and the other parts of the convoluted mirage or convoluted hologram. In fact, I want to call this video either convoluted hologram or dancing mirage or I don't know, Rothschild mirage or well, there is a little history behind all this. Um, like a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years, like 3, 4 years ago, I wanted to get into the stock market and play the different indices and anyhow. So I never just go and do something. I always research the crap out of everything, and so I started watching a lot of financial reports. One of them was Kaiser report. I like this couple. They're so smart, and I learned so much. And then I started also watching Gregory Mannarino. I like him a lot too. Anyhow, but the last 6 months or so, I stopped watching Gregory Mannarino because he his message is repeating over and over. He basically knows that the stock market and the U.S. bond market are nothing but a huge fraud. There is nothing there. There is no value there. I watch USA Watchdog. Especially I like Rob Kirby. He just comes out. He's so blunt and just puts it out. Basically, the way the U.S. Stock market is operating and is that there is a part of the Treasury, U.S. Treasury, is called exchange stabilization. So basically, it's like a self-defense or more like an offense department with huge trillions of dollars worth of U.S. funds. Basically, I think they just print the money or they create it on the computer. So this exchange, all it wants to do is protect the value of U.S. dollar by all means. I don't know if they use besides financial means. They are also connected to the Langley group, go around overthrowing foreign government and stealing the central bank's gold from them, or they are very shady. I think the whole U.S. government is extremely shady people. Anyhow, out of the 5 countries that in the Muslim world that they have overthrown, I don't know how many of them, their central bank gold has ended up with the U.S. government. And then what they do is very heavy-handed use of derivatives. They suppress the prices of metals like gold and silver, and doing so, it shows that the dollar is still very valuable, but it's not. In reality, dollar is like funny money. They have such hold on the financial markets and on the gold exchanges that they have kept the prices of metals down. And also, they have a team that they call it plunge protection, comes in and buys up U.S. stocks and bonds whenever there is a huge disaster and they're plunging. Basically, they're preventing free markets from showing the true value of stocks and bonds, because there is this invisible force is out there, comes in and buys all these commodities and then sells them off at the profit when the market stabilizes. The reason I stopped listening as much to Gregory Mannarino is because he knows this, his strategies also uses this, but everybody knows it's nothing but fraud. It's just says he don't care. Well, I was listening to him today. I think his lectures or videos are very valuable, but I'm not trying to go into investment strategies. Oh, I'm just trying to get a bigger picture of the relationship these these bankers have with the U.S. militarism, which is basically they are tied together. The, there's basically a one central bank that's owned by the Rothschild, and they control different banks like Federal Reserve and the European Bank, and they're basically strangling the world. And the U.S. politicians are kind of listening to these people because they are the ones that are paying the bills, and so it also a lot of the bonds that the U.S. has published, like U.S. Treasuries, the many countries are totally dumping them, and nobody is keeping them, but their price is not dropping, is not crashing. When the price drops, the interest rate goes up because they just say you have 100%, and if you're selling the bond at 75%, that means the other 25% of the face value is not the interest. Okay, kind of like that. It's the reverse. The interest rate is the reverse of the value of the bond. But if there is an invisible force, an invisible institution like Federal Reserve comes in and secretly buys these bonds, and then it says, well, I'm just gonna pay 2.3% interest on. So my bonds are always valuable. It's just the same thing that the exchange stabilization agency does in the U.S. government. They stabilize the value of the bonds, and because they have been doing this for so long, for many decades now, these bonds that are really worthless, they have become the holdings of many foreign central banks, like the Chinese and the Arabs and who knows where it has gone. So and every time they get a clue that hey, we need to dump these bonds, and then the U.S. government comes in and buys them. But from what I've been hearing from a lot of these gurus is that the things are getting out of control because first of all, everybody's dumping these bonds, and everybody knows they're worthless, and then they've been printing a lot of money to buy those, so the dollar value, is collapsing. But then again, they have so much influence, and everybody else is going bankrupt that they're forcing foreign central banks like to print their own money. So it's like a whole bunch of people jump off a plane with no parachute, but because they're all holding hands and they're all singing Ave Maria, then they're all falling together, and you don't see that hey, these guys, they're all falling very hard, but because your eye cannot see a reference point, like to see the speed of descent. Well, so the reference point would have been the precious metals like the silver and gold, but because the U.S. government either steals the gold from foreign banks by overthrowing their governments, like 5 Muslim countries, or confiscates it, or prints money and buys it, and then suppresses the price of the metal, then an outsider, when he comes in and tries to kind of figure out, hey, what's the value, intrinsic value of the dollar or euro against some commodity, something that is real money like silver and gold, he's unable to make a right judgment. So basically, like I was talking to a friend, I was saying that look at in this restaurant, if there is a barometer that's working and you're looking at the outside, you see that it's getting warm and you feel that it's getting warmer, and you look at the barometer and the barometer is saying, hey, it was 70 an hour ago, it's not 80, then yeah, you can validate your gut instinct that, hey, the temperature has gone up. But say somebody from outside comes in and smashes the barometer, breaks it, then you don't have a reference point, like something is very wrong, but you kind of it's just like those guys who are falling off the plane with no parachute. You have a hard time making a good decision. But now with the advent of cryptocurrencies, all the cryptocurrencies are not tied up to the extensive fraud that's going on with the Federal Reserve and all these buying of stocks, bonds, and pumping their value. So you can see the Bitcoin price is taken off, other cryptocurrencies too, because they're not tied to this fraudulent system. A lot of analysts, they keep coming out, especially I like Gregory Manarino, the way he talks, it's like it's real funny, but they all know this thing is gonna crash land very bad, but I don't know if their audience has a clue, and where this is all gonna end. And then on the political front, the U.S. government is doing all this stuff. It's like playing brinksmanship with many countries, like playing brinksmanship with Russia, with Syria, with Iran, with North Korea, with China, with it's like they got their finger up a lot of people's butts. I should name this video the burning sinking ship, which is like something is really bad is gonna happen to this, but I don't know. You don't even have to be a psychic lady. You don't have to have a gift of prophecy. You don't. You just have to use your reasoning, and this thing is going to come to a very hard landing. And I want to make a video, but I'm gonna wait to see if they impeach Trump and things turn violent, because there is many young white, I call them the new brown shirts, that they like Trump and the trash he stands for. And so if he gets impeached and the Senate says yes, he sucks, and we're going to impeach him too, then there might be violence, and then either he's going to get assassinated or he's going to assassinate more of US politicians secretly or openly. I don't know. There is a Greek expression that says that when God wants to destroy a nation, he first makes them crazy. And you can see this in Saudi Arabia with the crown prince confiscating many princes' money and also keeping them hostage. And then in Israel, the Jews, they are now very open about their own infighting. And then in the United States, the government is. I pray that these guys they get their hard landing before they do any more stuff that many people will get killed. Say for example, Trump being a weak president really start a nuclear war, then the whole thing will be postponed until I don't know, or Saudi Arabia go straight into a huge regional war, and then everybody lose sight of the fact that the crown prince has totally annexed the control of